have produced this short video to introduce you to a business networking organisation called EPIC, ex-police in industry and commerce. EPIC is the only business networking organisation exclusively for former police officers and police staff who, having left the service, have either started their own business or are now employed in the commercial sector. We thought that it would be of interest for you to see how one of its current members became involved in the organisation and how EPIC now helps him and others with their new careers. May I introduce you to Dick, a former police officer from the Midlands, who is here to tell you all about his new life away from the police service.
A former police officer, having worked for Staffordshire Police for 30 years, I worked at a local and regional and also national level, finishing off as a counter-terrorism advisor down in London for the Association of Chief Police Officers, ACPO, and also for the government and the Home Office. I had 30 great years in the job. I absolutely loved it. I was very passionate about my job. I was very privileged in many positions, being access to intelligence, operations, briefings at very high government levels, and I had a very privileged to have that time in the service. I love the job. I love the job. I had some fantastic times down there. I didn't want to leave.
During our working life, we all have plans and dreams as to how we will spend our retirement. However, some plans don't always come to fruition. Maybe, through no fault of our own, circumstances change and we need to adapt. The transition from being a police officer can be very daunting and not as easy as some may think. Planning ahead for your retirement is important. It will help you move into a structured lifestyle and mean that you don't come to a sudden stop.
I had a letter from the Chief Constable saying, "You've got to go," and I had to go pretty quick, 30 years and out. Put me in a real awkward position, and I was due to finish, I just started a project which was going to take me 18 months to do, and I was fortunate in as much that the Home Office and the government said, or the police said, "Will you stay on as a consultant to do that work?" So it gave me a bit of breathing space. I finished on the Friday, and they took the warrant card off me, came back on the Monday, started back, no real difference. But it gave me 12 months breathing space. And what I also found at that time was, I went to a conference similar to this, where an old police officer, an old chief constable he was, who gave me some advice, probably the best advice I've ever received. And he said, when you've got 12 months left to do, tell everybody that you're leaving the job. And he says, and it'll work, you'll find work. And it won't be from the guy or the lady you've just told, it'll be for somebody that they discuss it with. And you can imagine the scenario of them sitting in their office, having a cup of tea in the morning, talking about a new project they're just going to take on, and someone will say, "I know someone who could do that. Dick's about to leave. He could come and do that." And that's worked for me. It worked for me. 2 months before my actual retirement date, somebody offered me a job. They wanted me to start the following day. It was that urgent, and I had to turn them down. But it does work, and it worked many times after. I love cycling. I'm passionate about cycling. And I've always had visions of when I retire, I'll be cycling off into the sunset at every opportunity. But that didn't happen. I finished work in December, had a great Christmas at home. In January, the weather deteriorated. My family went back to work or to school or to university. My friends went back to work, and I didn't. I was sat at home, started to watch Columbo on the telly. It was just getting me down. I've never been depressed in my life. I could feel myself getting more and more down the longer I stayed at home. I decided to put my energy into creating a business. My only two parameters were, one, I didn't want to sit on the motorway in a traffic queue every morning, and two, I didn't either want to sit on a train in the same circumstances. Those were my only two parameters. Setting up a business was a big issue for me, something I've never had to do. I'm no longer a cop, so who am I? I had to keep asking myself the question. I decided to be a policing consultant because that's where my skills lay. I had lots of skills, but I had no certificates to show for them. I didn't even have my vetting certificate to show that all the clearance that I'd had over the years. But to be a policing consultant, I thought was the best choice to use my skills and offer them to corporate opportunities, either in risk assessments, in tracing people and carrying out investigations, all sorts. But that's where I decided to follow. So how did I start? A friend of mine advised me of a company called Greaves Price. They were a CV company. And my concern was that when I'd done my CV, and I'd been on pre-retirement courses, got all the packages to build on, but I struggled to fit what I wanted to in my CV. I'd been involved in the sneaky-beaky side of policing, and I didn't know what I could declare and what I couldn't declare. And this company took my CV from me, interviewed me over the telephone, and then produced probably the best thing that I ever had. It's a perfect description of me, but it wasn't in police speak. And that CV has lasted me 4 years, and I just tinker with it now for each different project that I have. A brilliant investment that I certainly recommend to you all. They also compiled my LinkedIn profile for me. And again, it was a really strong profile, but I didn't realise how strong it was until recently. I went on a course on how to use LinkedIn to improve my business, and I found out how that CV, how that LinkedIn had been put together. The way they tagged me in various positions, which made my profile even stronger. It was money well worth spending. At the time I left the job, a colleague of mine, whose nickname was Clemo, he decided to leave at the same time. And he decided he wanted to cut himself off from the police and to become a chimney sweep. I was becoming a policing consultant. Between the two of us, we shared ideas about our business plans, and we realised our business plans were identical. The theory behind it all was identical, the only difference being he was a chimney sweep, I was a consultant. He told me about the elevator pitch. I'd never heard the elevator pitch. And the elevator pitch was, you can imagine the opportunity of stepping into a lift, looking to your right, and there's that Richard Branson of your world. Somebody you think, he could provide me with some opportunities. But then he turns to you and says, hey, how are you getting on? What are you up to these days? I realised at that point, as I was putting my elevator pitch together, that I could no longer be an ex-cop.
Years ago, when we were planning our businesses, we came up with the elevator pitch and we discussed the benefits of it. What is your elevator pitch now?
Well, the elevator pitch that I use is, I imagine I'm stepping into a lift with someone like Richard Branson, someone that's going to offer me a contract, and I've got a pitch within a few seconds exactly what my business is all about. So what I say is this. I say I'm an established and trustworthy and reliable chimney sweeping business. With 30 years of police service behind me, you can trust and rely on me to provide you with a quality professional service which uses all the latest technology to solve any problems, detect any problems that the customer may have, and leave them feeling confident in a job well done.
You can only be an ex-cop for so long. People don't want to hear about your good fortune of the fact that you've been able to retire at such an early age and with such a good pension. And people don't really want to hear that over and over and over again. Because quite often than not, they maybe have just been told that they've got to work for another 10 or 15 years on top of their planned retirement state. They may have been told that their retirement pot isn't maturing. So it isn't something that you need to keep reminding people. The elevator pitch gave me the opportunity to tell them that I'm a policing consultant, that I now work for myself. I use my skills as a consultant and hire myself out to companies who want to utilise them, maybe in tracing people, maybe in doing risk management exercises, maybe in carrying out investigations or serving documents on behalf of legal services. And my elevator pitch helped me move on. It gave me the confidence to get further on in this career.
Becoming self-employed is not as difficult as you imagine, and there are lots of opportunities available to help you along the way. Although there is plenty to consider, don't be put off by the red tape. The rewards for being self-employed are plenty.
Business security was a big thing to me. I needed the security. I didn't want to use my home address as my business address. A friend of mine allowed me to use his business address for a company address. I needed to be a limited company. I needed to be a limited company because a lot of the people I was working for was the government agencies, local authorities, the EU government I had a project with, and they all preferred a limited company to have on their books. They also required indemnity public liability insurance, which was another story of trying to get public liability insurance when you're a policing consultant specialising in counter-terrorism. The conversation when I had with a lady when I first rang them up, I said to her what I wanted to do. She says, that's great. She says, what happens if something goes wrong? And I said, well, nothing will go wrong. She says, but what about if something does? And I suddenly realised I was on my back foot. I hadn't really thought about what I wanted to do. I soon found indemnity insurance through the police mutual, but it was a good lesson for me. Networking has been the key for me. Going around the country, using LinkedIn to find my old colleagues. Colleagues that I thought, he must be retired by now. You look on LinkedIn and there he is, working down south, working up north. And I've used LinkedIn to find those people out. I can honestly say that now, 4 years down the line, we worked it out the other day, 80% of my business has come from the contacts in LinkedIn. And that's just from me making contact with them, making contact with old bosses, probably bosses who I've never really socialised or spoke to when they were in the job. Now I'm meeting them for coffee, taking them out for a drink, telling them about my job, my business, and they in turn thinking of opportunities where they could employ me. And it works. LinkedIn gave me a lot of inspiration, gave me a lot of ideas, and it's given me a lot of confidence. Another thing that's given me a lot of confidence was joining EPIC. EPIC is an organisation called Ex-Police in Industry and Commerce. It's got a strapline, integrity assured. And the strapline is there because all members of EPIC are put through a vetting process to make sure that they haven't got any skeletons or bad eggs that they're going to bring this company into disrepute. EPIC has been a good opportunity for its members to network. Members from all over the country. It holds at least three seminars a year in the North, the South, the Midlands, where it invites its members to come in to listen to speakers, to listen to speakers who have got an interest in helping our members improve their careers. We also within EPIC have what we call preferred partners. These are companies who sponsor EPIC. They pay to become part of EPIC because they can have access to our membership, to the opportunities that our members can supply to their businesses.
What we call a preferred partner, your business in effect sponsors or supports EPIC. How do you feel that?
from a business point of view, how does that benefit you?
Well, I guess in the early days, before they had preferred partners, I think I made a statement to quite a few people, the old committee members, that I saw a benefit of being involved with Epic, that I could use their credibility and their assurance of being credible and having integrity as maybe a tool to represent my business, and really on the back of many conversations like that, the idea of a preferred partner was born. And I mentioned in those days that as a business I'd be quite happy to contribute towards using the name Epic, because of the fact that my business had been investigated and had due diligence done on it to prove that we were honest and reliable, and that they visited some of my customers and interviewed those to see whether we gave a good service, and the report that followed that sort of procedure really was like a certificate of credibility for me.
Lots of businesses choose to support Epic because they can benefit from our membership. How do I use Epic? Well, I use Epic really for finding ex-cops who can help me with my work. Quite often I'll receive some incorrect requests for jobs that I can't fulfill because they're probably the other part of the country or because I'm tied up on another project. And I'll use Epic's website to go and search more membership data, to search for members who might be able to help me out, to come and do a couple of days for me part-time. I also use Epic to look for legislation, for issues that might affect me when I take on a new project. Inevitably, somebody amongst our membership will also be doing a similar project, and they don't mind at all if I pick up the phone and say, I've just been offered this piece of work, what do I need to consider? Finally, I also use it for training, exhibitions, seminars. Within the membership, there's somebody who represents, who will be taking part in training, holding seminars, who are always of use to me as a member. Recently, I took some training on, helped me to get my qualifications as a trainer. Something that I had 30 years to do in the police, but now I'm having to pay to do it. Within the membership, I found somebody who was prepared to provide me with that training. So, Epic is good. Epic is a fantastic opportunity for you all to consider. Please have a look at our website. Please come along to our seminars, hopefully it'll be a place near your home soon, and come and join us. See how you can benefit from Epic. Thank you very much.
Membership of Epic is open to police officers and police staff from Home Office forces and government-run security and investigation services. Epic has a growing membership whose ranks, when serving, range from constable to chief constable, and from general support staff to the highly specialist. Many are self-employed, owning their own companies or providing consultancy services, and others are leading practitioners in their fields and employed by major companies. Why don't you make contact with Epic through their website, www.epic-uk.com, and come and join us at one of our seminars. We are confident that you will not only enjoy our company, but also walk away with new ideas and contacts which will help you to shape your new life away from the police service. We look forward to seeing you soon.